I'm Tim Marshall. Welcome to R&B Showcase Live, giving you the best in classic to contemporary R&B, Motown, pop, soul, jazz, and blues, featured artists, and special guests. We got some special guests in the building today. First, I want to welcome my co-host. He's a music historian. Mr. Kevin White is back with us. What's happening, Kevin?
Hey, Tim. Good to see you.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
I know you've been on the road touring and covering shows and things.
I have been. I've been to a couple Spinner shows, some Temptations things. Been having a lot of time.
Well, we gotta congratulate the Spinners for being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So congratulations to Henry Fambro and company. Round of applause for the Spinners.
Well deserved.
Well deserved.
About time.
About time for that group, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's been a long time, and it's been the third time trying to get into that Hall of Fame.
It is, and I was hoping they would make it. I wasn't certain. I was so happy to see that they did.
Well, the one thing I'm glad about is that Henry Fambro, who's the last surviving original founding member, is here to see that honor.
Absolutely.
To them to get in there. So congratulations to them and to Felipe and to Bobby and to Billy and to Purvis. And of course, G.C. Cameron's still with us and John Edwards is still with us. So all of them are able to see this induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So congratulations to them.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Speaking of Philadelphia, Sound of Philadelphia, TSOP, the Sound of Philadelphia. We have a special guest joining us right now. And she actually toured with Billy Paul and did some performances over the years. She's a veteran recording artist. She's got some new recordings. She's got a brand new single out called Joy and Pain. We want to welcome to the R&B Showcase, Miss Tena Riley. Tena.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
We're so glad to have you here. Tena, I've been playing your single Joy and Pain for the last few weeks on the R&B Showcase radio show. And of course, it's actually been taken off. A lot of other stations are following suit and starting to play your new material.
Yes.
And I congratulate you on that and applaud you on that. And one day I applaud you being a veteran artist, that you continue to do it. You don't stop.
No.
It doesn't just belong to the young now. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's our music. We know music for our generation.
Absolutely.
And the fact that you're continuing to do that, we applaud you for that. And Tena, you can go on as long as you feel like doing it,
Yeah, I love music. I also write my own songs, so I just love music.
Now I'm feeling you. You wrote that, right?
Yes, I wrote that.
That is one of my favorite songs. I bang it. I play it to death on the radio, I'm feeling you. That's my cut, And then Tonight is another dance single, the track that you had out.
Yes.
Now, who produced? Now, Tonight has a different kind of a sound. Who produced that track?
Well, I recorded that at a studio in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Polygon recording studio.
I'm familiar with that studio.
Yeah, and I forget the producer's name. I think his name is Mike. Yeah, I think something like he has an Italian last name, but in Cherry Hill on Route 70, I believe, Polygon Studio. Yeah,
that's a popular studio. I mean, that's been around for a long time.
Yes, it has.
At least 30, 40 years at least.
That's right.
And,
that's right.
So that's unfamiliar. They do pretty good work there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Polygon. That was a dance track, right, for you?
Yes, that was a dance track for me.
How about I'm Feeling You? Where was that recorded at?
That was also recorded at Polygon Studio.
Now, who were the musicians on that? Was that the people in the studio, musicians? Or?
Well, he did everything by, on the board, and and here I believe he did bring in a drummer, to lay down the beats, but everything else was done,
It has a nice little earthy sound.
Yeah.
You wrote that song. Yes. All right. Go ahead, Tena. Writing them songs.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. You know what I mean? It's all about getting those royalties.
Now, tell us about some of the artists that you worked with over the years, Tena.
Some of the artists that I work with, Billy Paul, I worked with him for 11 years on the road. And how that happened was I was singing with a group called the Mellow Moods, and we were on the Gamble and Huff label in Philadelphia, and we had a song called Tell Love Hello. Well, at the time, things had slowed down for the Mellow Moods, and we heard that Mr. Billy Paul was looking for background vocals. And he lived in Camden on Princess Avenue. So we rehearsed on Kenwood Avenue. So we all just got together and walked around the corner and knocked on his door. And we said, hey, Mr. Billy Paul, we understand that you're looking for 3 background vocals to take on the road with you. He was about to go to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. Okay. So he says, well, okay. He says, well, let me hear what you ladies have. So we got in his living room and we belted out a song by The Emotions called Whoa, Whoa, Whoa. You got the best of my love. Whoa, whoa. You got the best of my love. So, and the rest was history. And the next thing we know, we were getting passports and getting needles in our arms to make sure we were fully protected when we went over to Rio de Janeiro. It was like 6 weeks we stayed over there. And it's so amazing. I mean, I learned so much from being in Brazil. Believe it or not, Brazil, it's a pretty poor place to be. I literally saw children after we would stop singing for the rest of the night. After the show was over, we would get on the bus, and sometimes we would literally see children digging in the trash cans for something to eat. And that really kind of broke my heart. So Brazil has its good qualities and it has some very bad qualities that will really break your heart. To see children actually eating out of trash cans. And also, we did a performance in Rio de Janeiro, and it was so funny because they speak Portuguese in Brazil. Okay, and each one of us girls, we all had to speak something in Portuguese. So what happens is, now this is funny, you all, we would speak in Portuguese, but it would come out in English on the other side.
Wow.
Yeah, it would come out in English. We would speak Portuguese in their language, but it would come out, where they can relate to it.
Right.
Yeah. So each one of us girls, we had, Billy Paul had us to come out and say this. This is what I had to say when I hit the stage. It was, Boa noite, senhor e senhoras, bem-vindo. And what that means is, welcome, senores y senores, to the Billy Paul Show. Welcome. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, and oh my God, you're talking about heat, the humidity over there.
Wow.
Oh my God. Oh, if you're not ready for it,
Quite a different atmosphere over there.
Oh my, it's a totally different atmosphere over there. The heat that we get here is nothing like the heat that you can experience in Brazil.
Now, how receptive were those overseas audience to the music compared to the States?
Oh, let me tell you something. In Brazil, they love artists from the United States. Artists in the United States are a star in Brazil. Let's take, for instance, like Billy Paul was like Michael Jackson over there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, Billy Paul was like Michael Jackson. He was a king over there. They loved Billy Paul. And when the bus would, when we would arrive, all you could hear was Billy, 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 Billy. So they loved him. He was like a king over. He was like Michael Jackson. They loved him, and I can truly say that our music is more acceptable in other countries like the UK. We get more air for some reason. We get more airplay over there than we get over here. But I can honestly say, if it had not been for you, Tim Marshall,
Thank you.
if it had not been for you, no one would have never heard my CD single, Joy and Pain, I'm Feeling You, and Tonight is the Night. You have been playing my music, I believe, for the last 3-4 years now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I want to thank you so much, and I congratulate you for what you're doing for us R&B artists, because without radio hosts like yourself, we would have nowhere to send our music, and next thing you know, it's playing over in the UK, and it's hard to track your music when it's being played in the UK.
But other artists, other stations are picking up on your music as well, which is a great thing.
Yeah.
You've got to get as many stations playing on it because, it's very competitive out there today.
Yes,
you
it
got
is.
the radio, Kevin. You know what I'm talking about? You got all these other outlets. You got the different
Streaming
platforms.
services.
Yes.
Streaming services. And
Yes.
things. You got a question, Kevin?
Yeah, I was just wondering, going back to that Portuguese story, what year was that you started working
my
with Billy Paul?
God. I started singing background for Billy Paul. I believe it was 98.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
About 98. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that is interesting because, overseas he was still such a big star.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's funny how our music, once you are a star, once you've established yourself, you stay a star overseas.
Yes.
But for some reason in the States, you have to be current or maintain some kind of level that somebody has determined as this is successful,
Yes.
But once you're overseas, it's like you are a star, you're a star now, tomorrow, forever. And
That's right.
just the way it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
We had Jimmy Williams of True on our show not too long ago, and he mentioned the same thing, how receptive they are to American music on the overseas market. So
Yes.
I understand what you're saying.
Yes.
It's a great thing, to have that and to be able to perform over there. And then come back to the States. And like you said, you have to keep current. And you do that by putting out new music. And that's what you're doing. You put
Absolutely.
out new tracks and things.
Absolutely.
And, keeping that sound out there live, and Joy and Pain. Now, this is a different studio you use for that, for Joy and Pain, right?
Yes. I recorded that in Voorhees, New Jersey, at Mr. Butch Ingram's recording studio in his basement. Yeah.
And what's it like working with Butch Ingram compared to the other producers?
You know what? I like working with Mr. Butch Ingram because Butch Ingram gives me the sound that I was looking for. Okay, I've been other places, but when I recorded at his studio, he gave me the Philadelphia sound that I was looking for. So I was happy. I was a happy camper about that.
You have that quality sound. And now, how many songs have you done so far with Butch?
So far, I've only recorded 3. So I'm going to do a whole album. So I have about, let's say, maybe 8 or 9 more songs to record.
Oh, wow. So you're going to do a whole album?
A whole album.
With Butch. Okay. So you had Joy and Pain. Now, you did something with True, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. I did After You Love Me, Why Do You Leave Me? With Mr. Jimmy Williams of True.
Okay. And then you have some other projects going on. So when can we expect the album to come out? Shortly? Or?
Well, I have to go in the studio and lay down some more tracks.
Okay.
And so it's up to the producer, it's up to Mr. Butch Ingram when he's going to release it. And as I was saying before, it's going to be released overseas first before it comes here.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going to be released overseas before it even comes here.
Well, that's where the market. You gotta go where the market is. You have, but it's a great track. Great track. I like to see hear some more. The dance stations pick up on and things. Cause it's nice quality club track. Kevin, you gotta listen to that now. That's Joy and Pain. From Tina Riley.
Bring it up right now.
Put that on your list.
Yeah. And Tim, I also want to say to the young people, it's okay to chase your dreams. And if you want to sing, go ahead and sing. But you must understand the business. It's more than just getting up on stage and performing. You have to get out there. You have to network. You have to meet and greet people. You have to start writing your own songs. Then you have to learn about distribution. You have to learn about mechanical license. You have to learn about sound exchange. You have to learn about these things, okay? Because it's very important, okay? Because people like sound exchange, they are the ones that get your money, okay? So, if you are a writer, I encourage young people to write, okay? And then you get your song copyrighted with the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. And they will, in turn, send you a registered certificate with a number on it, certifying that you are the owner of, this composition. Okay, so I just want to let them know that it's more than just getting up there on stage and singing. You have to understand the business. It's more than just singing. Okay, let's say if you have a management, you're so anxious to be a star, and you sit down and you sign that contract. You have to be careful what you're signing, because if you sign that contract without an attorney looking at that contract, hey, you could be selling yourself down the river. Okay, and there's nothing you can do about it, because you put your John Hancock on that contract, and you have to read that fine print on that contract. So I encourage, all up and coming artists, if you are presented with a contract, please do not sign that contract until you take it to a proper music attorney.
And like you said, it's not just a criminal attorney. You got to have a music attorney.
Entertainment.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and
People think that. They think they can just get any attorney and do it. They're somebody's cousin or brother.
No.
That is so important, Tina.
That's
to
right.
have the proper people in place to do that.
You have to have an entertainment attorney. I'll give you, for instance, I signed a contract one time. I went in the studio, and it was my fault. I went in and I recorded the track, and then they gave me the contract after I recorded the track. So I went home, I read the contract, and the contract just didn't make any sense to me. So I went to Cherry Hill, New Jersey. There's a whole building of entertainment attorneys there. So I took the contract to the attorney. He looked it over. He said, "Miss Raleigh," he said, "where did you get this contract from?" I said, "I got it from the producer at the studio where I record." He said, "They must have got this from Walmart." He said, "They must have gotten this from Walmart." He says, "Miss Raleigh, when you went into that recording studio, they were supposed to pay you for laying down that track." He said, "Did they give you any money?" I said, "No, sir, they didn't." He said, "Let me explain something to you, Miss Raleigh." He said, "If you call a painter to paint your house, he wants his money. He wants a deposit, and he wants his money before he finished his job." So he said, "I'm telling you this to say this." He says, "Whenever you go into the recording studio, you have to be paid for laying down your vocals on that track." He says, "So I'm telling you this." He said, "This contract is no good." He said, "So you take it back and tear it up in front of their face." He said, "It's no good." He said, "And you tell them, if they put your vocals out anywhere, it's going to be a problem." So I'm saying, in this business, you have to be very, very careful, especially when it comes to contracts. You must take that contract to an entertainment attorney that knows the business. He's not going to steer you wrong.
That's some great advice, especially for our young people that are trying to get into this business. And to hear that from a veteran artist is golden, really. Because you experienced that, and you're from that era. And, and the sad part about it is a lot of those artists, even from going back to the 50s and the 40s, got ripped off in the early days. How many artists have covered a lot of their tunes and gotten paid more?
That's right.
Now, these rappers today, Kevin, that they get paid.
Yes, they do.
They make sure everything is straight before they go into
That's right. They certainly do. They do.
They also have figured out how to do licensing and make of their likeness and all kinds of things like that. So absolutely, you got to make sure your business is straight.
You have to make sure your business is straight. I mean, your pictures. I mean, they can make money on your pictures. Everything.
Like your likeness.
Your likeness. That's right.
Getting it out there, and
absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. Great information. For our youth. And like I said, you've lived that.
I lived it, and I'm willing to give up the information for free. It doesn't cost you nothing to listen to Tena Raleigh when I'm telling you, because I've been there, I've done that, and I've did a few things wrong, so that's how I learned.
Right.
What not to do, ever to do that again.
Right.
So if I'm ever presented with a contract, you can believe I'm haul assing to the to the attorney's office to read that contract.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a great thing. I mean, think of the New Edition, and people like that. They've got tied up with bad contracts
That's
for
right.
years, until almost till recently,
That's right.
Then you have the issue of the name, who owns the name of the
Yes.
person. You might not even own your own name.
Yeah.
And then it comes down to performance rights as opposed to recording rights, as opposed to people just think, well, I own the name.
Yeah.
That doesn't really mean a lot. You got to know what part of the name you own.
Exactly. That's just like I have a peeve with groups going around using other people's names. I just hate that. Where is the respect? How can you go and use another group's name and have people paying $45 for a ticket and you're not even a real deal?
And there's a lot of that, and there's so many groups out there.
You're not even a real deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not going to buy a ticket from you for $45, $50. And the group that you have on your show, they're not even a real deal.
I'm like, I have nothing against a good tribute group. I've seen many good tribute groups, but you got to let me know you're a tribute group.
Yeah.
Don't come out and make me think you're the real deal.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's right. Where is the respect?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Anything to the person. So
Yeah.
But like I said, you being a veteran artist, know that. Now, tell us about some of the places that you've been. I know you've done overseas. What some of the other places you performed at? Like when you got started, where did you? Some of the places, venues. Certainly Atlantic City. I'm sure.
Atlantic City,
Harlem.
Club Harlem. What was it? Cotton Club. Oh my God! Doing with Billy Paul, he took me to a lot of clubs that when I was singing with my group, the Miller Modes, he took us to clubs that even we couldn't even get in.
Okay.
So it was great to perform with him, in Atlantic City, Club Harlem, Cotton Club. I remember performing in Atlantic City with Billy Paul, and it was a shootout.
Oh, wow.
There was a shootout. Okay. We were on stage, and Billy Paul was singing, "Thanks for saving my life. Pick me up, dusting me off." So next thing we know, I said, "Feet, don't fail me now." Feet, don't fail me now. Okay, that was the most horrible thing that I ever experienced. Okay, and it took me a while to go back on stage with Billy. I had to take at least a month or 2 months off because I was shook up behind that. Okay, from what I understand, some drug people came in and shot the place up. So that was not good at all. That was not good at all. But as far as anything else, traveling with Billy Paul, I really enjoyed myself. He was a great mentor, and he took Tena Raleigh all around the world. He took me to places that I've never even been to. I mean, I'm originally from North Philadelphia.
Okay.
But I live in Camden, New Jersey.
All right.
But being from the city and being from Camden, New Jersey, I mean, he took me to places that I'd never even seen. I never even knew what a mountain looked like. I never even knew what a mountain looked like, So, hey, so I'm really grateful to Mr. Billy Paul for, taking me under his wings for 11 years and teaching me different things about the music industry.
He had some great songs, Let 'Em In, and You're the Gods,
yes.
and all of that good stuff. And,
Yes.
Only the strong survive.
Only the strong
Yes.
survive. The whole town's talking. I used to like the album tracks Billy had.
Absolutely.
He's a great guy too.
Yes.
Him and
Just a
Blanche.
prisoner.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Your song, he did some covers too.
Yes.
Elton John's Your Song, and he has some really, really nice albums.
Absolutely.
He's just a quality artist. And one thing I like about Billy Paul, and I say that about a lot of the veteran artists, when you heard Billy Paul, you knew it was Billy Paul.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
When you hear Marvin, you know Marvin. You hear Smokey, you know Smokey.
Yes.
You
Yes.
have that sound. Gladys, you know it's Gladys.
That's
Aretha,
right. That's
you know
right.
it's Aretha.
It's right.
It's just that they have that sound, and they were able to develop that identity.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
everybody sounds like the same person out there. You know,
Yes.
like, I don't know one from the other anymore. It's getting worse and worse by the minute.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
And the thing, Kevin, we talk about this all the time. There's so many artists out there now.
Yeah.
You know, there's too many.
So much competition out there. You know.
It's because everybody can do it themselves now.
Right.
Before you used to have to go through a certain process, and there was elimination and survival of the fittest and all those kind of things.
Yes.
Now pretty much anybody can do it. So now there's just so much product
Exactly.
in the market.
Yes, exactly. That's right.
And then some of the talent is not what it used to be.
No, it's not.
The quality's not there, you know. I mean, there's some good ones now. I'm not going to say there aren't any good
Yeah.
ones, but the quality's not. Well, let's talk about some of the new artists. Are there any new artists on the scene that you appreciate listening to, Tina?
I love Lettucey.
Okay.
I like Lettucey. And I love Gladys Knight. She is my idol. I love me some Gladys Knight. Yeah. Could it be that it was all so simple then? Or it's time rewritten every line? And if we had the chance to do it all again, tell me, could we? Would we? Memories make it beautiful, and yet misty waters full of memories of the way we were. Scattered pictures of the miles we used to share, times we shared with one another, of the way we were.
Nicely done.
Thank you for that great performance, Tina. I love that song. Try to Remember from Gladys does that, her version of it. And
Yes, that's my favorite. That's one of my favorite. And Midnight Train to Georgia.
Of course, Midnight Train to Georgia.
Oh yeah,
Another great tune.
Yeah.
Listen, we had some, like I said, growing up, we all grew up in the same era. Some really, really great artists. You know, great quality artists. You know.
Well, see, when I grew up listening to Jerry Butler.
Wow.
The Iceman. You know what I mean? Sly and the Family Stone.
Oh, okay, now you're talking
You
about
know?
my style.
Yeah, you know? Yeah.
But one thing when you talk about Jerry Butler, you know, Burt Bacharach wrote some stuff for him in addition to Kenny Gamble. You know, he had so many great artists. We had Lieber and Stoll and Lennon and McCartney and Smokey.
Yes,
and
yes.
So many great songwriters, you know. Now, what part of Philadelphia did you say you were from?
North Philadelphia.
So you had, you were right in the hub of all of those
I was right
quality,
there.
all those great artists, you know, Teddy Pendergrass and Patti LaBelle and Sarah Dash and the Delphonics and the Stylistics, all of them from the same area.
Yes.
It's like Motown. Philadelphia's like a Motown, you know, with so many artists in the same area, you know?
Absolutely. And you know who else I had the pleasure of meeting and I almost died? Mr. Burt Bacharach.
Wow.
Really?
I met Mr. Bacharach on Broad Street at the producer's name was Mr. Morris Bailey. Okay, but I forget the name of the record company that it was. Anyway, we were up there, me and two other young ladies. We were up there recording, and Morris Bailey said, "Ladies, I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Burt Bacharach." I said, "Mr. Who?" I almost died. That was, oh my God. That was the first time I ever met him, and it was a pleasure. It was only for a half an hour we were in the room with him, but it was all right.
That's awesome.
He's one of the greatest songwriters of all time. I mean,
Yes.
he's in that realm. You know, he did a lot of things for Dionne Warwick and Dusty Springfield and so many.
If you ever get a chance, I'm going to say it was about the mid-90s. He and Ronald Isley put out an album, and it's Ronald Isley covering all those great Burt Bacharach songs. That's a record.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Listen to that.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, that's a good thing. We'll be on the lookout for that. We'll also be on the lookout for some of Tina Riley's new music that'll be coming out soon. As I said, we're playing Joy and Pain right now. But again, I want to thank you, Tina, for coming on the show today. Let's give Tina a round of applause one more time. The legendary Miss Tina Riley. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's good to have you here. I appreciate your performance. We also want to thank my co-host, Mr. Kevin White, music historian Kevin White.
Thank you, Tim.
All right.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks. It's great to have you here with us.
Absolutely.
My name is Tim Marshall, and I want to thank you for joining us for R&B Showcase Live.